Today we're going to be conducting a head-to-head demonstration between our Tactical Impulse LE1 flashlight and the SureFire R1 Lawman. Let's get started. Let's begin by looking at the exterior of both lights. Both lights are very comparable in both weight and length. The Lawman comes in at 8.1 inches long, the LE1 8.13 inches long. The Lawman 10.2 ounces, LE1 11.6 ounces, so very close. Both are aluminum flashlights with an anodized Type 3 finish. There is a difference to the finish. You can see the Lawman has more of this dull type finish, and the LE1 has more of a sheen to it. The textures of both are pretty much identical. There are some differences when it comes to water resistance of both lights. The Lawman does have an O-ring seal at its tail, but also has some open orifices that will allow water or other moisture to enter. So the Lawman will be able to withstand maybe a light rain or some light splashing with water. The LE1 also has an O-ring seal at its tail, as well as every other connection point. Its charging system is completely sealed, as are both of its switches and lens assembly. The LE1 is submersible down to 1 meter. There are some differences in the size and shape of the heads of both lights. The Lawman has a 1.6 inch diameter head, and the LE1 has a 2.1 inch diameter head. The LE1 also has a stainless steel strike bezel. There are some reasons why the head of the LE1 was designed the way it is. One is to give the light a nice firm grip when manipulating the head switch. Another is that its increased size and introduction of these fins increase the surface area and allow for very efficient dissipation of heat. So the LE1 will be a much cooler running flashlight than the Lawman will. You also might be able to see that the lens of the LE1 has an anti-glare, anti-reflective coating that the Lawman does not. And both are shatter-resistant glass lenses. The increased head size of the LE1 also allows the reflector to have more surface area, and the deeper facets in the reflector allow for more peripheral flood, while the increased surface area still allows the light to be focused. While we're talking about the beam pattern, I'll also mention that the light produced from the LE1 is a warmer color temperature than the light produced from the Lawman. Let's take a look at the batteries and the charging systems of both lights. To remove the battery from the Lawman, you will remove the tail cap and then lift the handle on the back side of the battery to pull the battery out. And here we have a 2900 milliamp hour rechargeable lithium-ion battery in this proprietary SureFire casing with the charging connectors on the underside of the battery. To replace the battery, you will insert it into the light, rotate the battery until those charging connectors line up, and reinstall the tail cap. To charge, you'll use either an AC or DC power adapter. I'll go ahead and plug this power adapter into our power source. Then you insert the plug directly into the flashlight. You'll see that the Lawman does have a charge indicator that tells you when charge is in progress, and it will turn green when charge is complete. To remove the battery from the LE1, you will also remove the tail cap. And out will slide a battery holder with a Tactical Impulse 3100 milliamp hour 18650 battery that removes from the holder. Inside the battery holder is also an indicator telling you which way the battery should be oriented when installed. The back side of the battery holder also has an indicator telling you which direction the battery holder should be inserted back into the flashlight. To charge the LE1, you have some options. You can remove the battery and place it into an external battery charger. The charger also has an indication light that turns red when charge is in progress and green when charge is complete. You can also use the LE1 cradle charger. The cradle charging unit also has a spare battery bay that can charge an additional battery simultaneously to the LE1. Both have a separate charge indicator that turns red when charge is in progress and green when charge is complete. The cradle charger also comes with AC and DC power adapters. To charge, you'll simply insert your selected adapter into the cradle charger, tighten the collar so you get a nice firm connection, and simply slide the LE1 into the cradle charger. The light does lock into place and is kept very secure, so the cradle charger is suitable for mobile application. The Lawman will operate for 1.75 hours in high mode, and the LE1 will operate for 2.1 hours in high mode. The Lawman is marketed as a 750 lumen light, but a more accurate description of its performance is that it is a 500 lumen light that provides a 2-minute burst of 750 lumens on a freshly charged battery. What this means is if you insert a freshly charged battery into the Lawman, it will deliver exactly 2 minutes of 750 lumen light output before the light is programmed to drop its output to approximately 500 lumens. The LE1 is a 595 max lumen output light. Let's take a look at the user interface of both lights. You can see both lights are dual switch, a switch at the head and a switch at the tail. Both lights also have different programming options to choose from. We'll start by discussing the default programming options for each light. On the Lawman, the head switch offers on, off, and mode changing capability. Pressing the switch one time will power the light on. If you press the switch again after a few seconds, the light will power off. If you press the switch again after turning it on within a few seconds, the users are able to cycle through the modes, which are high, medium, and low. The tail switch gives users access to momentary high only. As long as pressure is applied to the switch, the light will be on in high mode. For constant on operation, you must twist the entire tail cap to the right until it's tight to keep the light powered on. In the two other programming modes for the Lawman, in mode 2, the head switch functions in the same manner we just described, but a strobe function is added to the tail switch. Rapidly pressing the switch 3 times will keep the light on in strobe mode as long as pressure is applied to the switch. In programming option 3, the additional modes are removed and the light operates in high only from the head switch or the tail switch. On the LE1, the head switch gives users access to momentary, on-off, and mode changing capability. Partially depressing the switch will keep the light powered on in high mode. Pressing the switch further until a click is heard will keep the light powered on. While the light is powered on, partial depressions of the switch will cycle through the various modes. In the LE1's default programming state, the light will power back on in high mode every time it is turned off. The tail switch works the exact same way as the head switch, giving users access to momentary, on-off, and mode changing capability. In the second programming option for the LE1, mode memory is introduced. To program the LE1, you must have either the belt holster unit or the cradle charging unit. To program, insert the light into either unit and depress the head switch and the tail switch simultaneously. The light will flash 3 times to confirm the programming setting. Now, whenever the light is powered off, it will power back on in the last mode that was used. So we will cycle to strobe, power the light off, and when the light is powered back on, it will be in strobe mode. We just looked at the holster unit. The LE1 Smart Holster was specially designed to work with the LE1. Not only is it used for programming, but the LE1 is holster aware. If the light is powered on, it will automatically power off when holstered. And while in the smart holster, either switch will not activate the light output. There are some other accessories that are specially designed to work with the LE1. One such accessory is the traffic baton. These other accessories attach at the tail end of the LE1. The traffic baton has its own power switch and pulls power from the main battery to operate its internal array of red LEDs that can operate in a strobe mode or constant on. While the traffic baton is being used, the main light can be used as well. Another accessory that can be attached at the tail end of the LE1 is the Size and Life extension pack. The Size and Life extension pack increases the overall length of the LE1 to what's commonly referred to as a full-size duty light in law enforcement. It also introduces an additional battery cell to increase the runtime of the LE1. There is no tail switch on the Size and Life extension pack, so the head switch will be the only switch that's used to manipulate the LE1. That concludes our head-to-head demonstration. We hope you found it educational, and we look forward to seeing you again.